Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us. My name is Yvette Baidan, and I'm the CEO for Astor Services for Children and Families, and I have been with the organization for the last 13 years. These last 4 to 6 months have been quite a challenge for our organization. With the pandemic, we have certainly come across many issues that we've had to resolve within a short period of time. However, I've been really fortunate and proud of the staff that I have and the work that they've done during this pandemic. We have been able to provide 80,000 sessions of telemental health services to those children and those families that we serve. It's been really important for me to make sure that there was continuity of care and access to services. We've also been able to engage new clients during this pandemic. One of the areas of our organization where we were not able to provide remote work was in our residential services. Our residential services are a 24-hour facility, and the staff were coming in and out of the building during the highest peak of the pandemic, and I'm really proud of them for the commitment that they've shown to the children and the families. I'm really proud of that work, and I hope that we're able to soon continue to do the level of home visits and family gatherings that we used to do prior to this pandemic. I would like to introduce you to Kevin Reifenberg of Astor's Expressive Arts Program and to Richmond RC of the Children's Foundation of Astor. They have both been working with the children at our residence in coping with COVID Virtual Art Expo. You're going to have the opportunity to have some behind the scenes with some of the children in the work that they're doing for this Virtual Art Expo. Please take it away.
Thanks, Yvette. Hi, everybody. My name is Richmond RC. I'm with the Children's Foundation of Astor. And I have with me Kevin Reifenberg of our Expressive Arts Program. Thank you for joining us. This is definitely a first for Kevin and myself. Both creative people, but as far as doing a virtual event, we're really...
It's my first one.
It's both of our first, so we're super excited to have you with us. And we're excited at what we're presenting to you guys today. So Kevin and I spoke a while back at the beginning of COVID. Kevin was coming in every day and working with the kids, and we really wanted to give the kids something to look forward to during COVID and hopefully at the end of COVID. So we came up with the idea of having a really great art show, and here we have it. We're doing it virtually. We would have loved to have everybody here in person, but we're still dealing with COVID. So we're gonna, without further ado, I guess we should just get started. We've got a lot of great art to showcase today. And our first piece is a COVID heart.
It's a COVID heart painted with some acrylic on a canvas board from a little girl named Audrey. And this is just a response to what it is that she is feeling. And this is part of a little triptych series. This is number one. And this is, like I said, this is her heart.
So the Expressive Arts Program, and this really is, the epitome of our program. Kids putting their emotions, their feelings, and when they can't often express through words, they put it on canvas. So none of us really know how to describe COVID. It's, it's something that, especially as adults at this point, we're like, the words don't come to us. So I think Audrey, did a really great job, and I'm excited to see the next pieces that are part of this triptych. So this is Audrey's second piece. So the first piece we saw was a broken heart. So we witnessed sadness, maybe a little loneliness,
just feeling a little bit of despair.
Okay. So now this is the second piece of the part of three. This guy does not look sad. He looks a little angry to me.
You are reading the painting correctly. This is her response to some prompting about feelings and how the COVID epidemic is really affecting everybody, specifically her in the studio space. And this was her response. And the cool thing was, and I didn't bring it up, but then the first painting, it was an emoji heart.
Okay.
Which her heart, but it was this emoji sort of subject. And so this is another emoji, and it's angry, and it is her response to what is happening.
I had this emoji on my phone because over the last few months, I could have used it, certainly. All right, so that's our second piece. Again, the first portion of this show, we're just going to be talking about all the great, amazing COVID pieces. And Audrey has a third piece that goes with this. So let's take a look at that one. So this is Audrey's third piece. This is definitely, so out of the three pieces, three wide range of emotions. We went from super sad, lonely to, this is, to me, I'm seeing like
a light at the end of the tunnel.
Like happiness.
Yeah, a light at the end of the tunnel.
Okay.
But there is some hope, and hopefully it's coming soon.
This is, it's night and day from Audrey's first piece of
Absolutely.
The dark heart, the sad heart.
And then just her use of color and incorporating the spectrum of the rainbow. And when we think of the rainbow, what do we think? There's something at the end of that rainbow.
What kind of prompts did you give her for this? Was this a piece that was like, where do you see yourself beyond COVID? Is this her ultimate happiness? Can you tell me a little bit more?
I think it was framed in with the subject of coronavirus and how she would feel once this all subsided and there was no more stress associated with the virus, with the pandemic, with having to stay here at Astor. And it was just, this is me. This is hopefully what people will feel
soon. So this is Audrey's third piece, and this one is titled COVID Gone. Kevin, tell us about this next piece.
Well, this painting is from a young boy named Jeff, and he was interested in what exactly the virus looked like.
Okay.
And so we had access to a computer, and we brought up some images of what a virus looks like. And we took a couple of those images and I gave them to Jeff, and he just rolled with it. And this is what he came up with. Again, it's acrylic on canvas, and it probably was completed in about one session, which was about 45 minutes or so.
Wow.
Yeah.
The kids do a lot of research before, and not just with the COVID, but in just the expressive arts program in general. Do they often ask to do like research about stuff?
A lot of the times they do, yes. Okay. They'll enter the space and...
it's curious. I mean, we've seen the workspace, and so it's a safe place for kids to go.
Absolutely, yep.
So
and a lot of the times I just follow what their interests are. And so what we'll do is we'll do a little research on a computer.
Okay.
We'll pull up a couple of images. Those images will be printed, and then that'll be our reference point. So again, we used one of those images of the virus as a visual resource so Jeff could create this.
This is great. So this piece is called Giant COVID, and we have a couple more to show you. So this piece is entitled COVID Blue, or COVID Blues.
COVID Blues.
COVID Blues. We've got a case of the COVID Blues.
Yes.
I love it. I love it. These kids are funny when they're naming their art.
Yeah, it's COVID Blues, and I think really how we came up with that title is a lot of the times when we're in our studio here at Astor, I'm always playing music.
Okay.
And a lot of the times it's not just about art and painting and sculpture, it's also broadening our horizons with music and the various types of music. And so I like to bring blues and reggae and jazz into the studio. And I think for this little guy, that was, the source of the inspiration.
I love it. But awesome. And this was Tristan?
Tristan, yes.
How old is Tristan? I forgot to ask.
Oh boy, he's a young one. I want to say maybe I think he's 7.
7?
I think he's 7, yes.
So this is what the blues looks like when you're 7 years old.
7 years old.
So this piece, I know it's entitled COVID Collaborative. So tell me what that is.
So a lot of the times when it's an individual and there's no one else in the studio, it gives me an opportunity to really connect and really kind of be almost a teacher as far as art goes and how to use mediums and how to really create a painting.
Okay.
And so this painting started again looking at the resource, the picture from the computer of what a virus looks like. And then how do we interpret that virus, not exactly copying it onto a painting, but how can we sort of maybe mimic its movements as it's traveling within the human body, and again using the various colors that we see in the picture, and paint application, spontaneity. And it's really just sort of describing or explaining to the children that enter the studio or on a one-to-one basis that it's talking about the evolution of a painting and how it begins, the in between and the end, and when do we leave it alone.
Right. Well, and it's also, our kids are growing in the program, so that's kind of a fun way to look at it. And the other thing too, I noticed a lot of kids, here at Astor, and even my own nieces and nephews, when it comes to art, sometimes kids get really frustrated.
True.
And one of the most valuable lessons I learned when I was a kid, taking art classes, is my art teacher, Miss Young, told me that there are no mistakes in art.
Happy little accidents.
Happy little accidents.
Happy little accidents. Okay. Just like Bob Ross used to say.
Yes, Bob Ross.
Yes, Bob Ross.
So I'm excited. This is such an awesome piece. And that's really great because I think that gives the kids really, I know they enjoy working with you, but I know now that they have a piece that you guys have created together.
Wow, isn't this art amazing? This is just so wonderful. I am so impressed by their commitment and the work that they've been doing, expressing their feelings through colors and through this artwork. Now you're going to have an opportunity to see one of our featured artists and the workspace here at Astor.
You ready to pick up where we left off on your painting?
Yeah.
All right, awesome. How was the pool today?
I like to create stuff with cardboard, and I also like to paint too.
Okay, cool. So you're working on right now, I see you're making a skyline of the city, and that's the Empire State Building?
Yes.
Super cool.
Yeah, have you ever been to the top of the Empire State Building?
Mm-mm.
No?
But I've been to the top of the Statue of Liberty.
Really?
Yeah.
That's pretty high up.
I got scared. That's why I'm still scared to go up there very high.
Yeah.
Like if I go in towards the window that's way high up, I'll just fall backwards.
That's pretty high, this statue.
I don't like to go high.
Have you always done buildings?
No.
No?
I've been creating other stuff too, like my shield.
Your shield?
Yeah, like this, my shield.
Why don't you tell me about that?
What gave me the idea of making the shield was that I was a big fan of war, and back in the days, people used to use shields like this from getting hurt by the enemies or getting shot by arrows.
Wow. What do you think about when you're painting?
I think about the summer times. I think about having fun every day, and I think of other things like my mom, my family, everybody that loves me.
Yeah.
My favorite part of the day is actually dinner.
Is dinner?
Yeah.
Is the dinner pretty good?
Yes.
What's your favorite?
My favorite
meal?
dinner is corn dogs and mac and cheese. I put corn dog I dip my corn dog in syrup.
Syrup?
Yeah.
What? That sounds great. No
It's really
ketchup, no mustard?
Mm-mm.
Just syrup, huh?
Yes.
What about your mac and cheese? You put anything
Mac and
on
cheese,
it?
I just put the I put Swiss cheese mixed up with American cheese. I melted on the mac and cheese.
Okay. So you like it really cheesy.
Yes.
Is that where you get your great ideas for your art? From all the extra cheese? You think that's what it is? I bet you that's because I think that you're a little cheesy sometimes.
I sure got a chuckle out of that. He talked about mac and cheese and
It was
using
so
Swiss
cheesy, yeah.
and cheesy. I thought that was lovely. Now let's turn it back over to Kevin and Richmond so we can check out some more art.
And here's Angelo's finished piece.
I think when he initially was working on this, what he had in mind was a cityscape, but it was during the day. And as we were beginning to think about palette and color and atmosphere and so on and so forth, it quickly changed to a night scene. And I think it came out quite beautiful.
It looks
it's
great.
how the windows are illuminated. It really sort of has that, inner city, Bronx, Brooklyn kind of appeal to it. I love it.
Well,
it's
and it's
great.
funny too because I think in the clip that we just saw, he was talking about like the Empire State Building,
Yeah.
and he was scared of heights, and now here we're seeing he's
here we
highlighted,
Yeah.
the heights, and this is really a great piece. I'm really excited by it. So, Kevin, we are really seeing the vastness of interpretation and arts that we do here at Astor with the Expressive Arts program. This is totally different than anything we've seen so far in the program.
These are abstract pieces,
Okay.
they're representational work. For a lot of people, it's hard to decipher these pieces because it speaks to everyone differently. And this particular boy loved to paint, Isaiah. And I really do. I think these are perfect examples of what the space offers and how paint is a means to sort of let things out. And it's really kind of like a therapy tool. And so Isaiah would enter my space, the studio, and he would grab the painting and he would proceed. And the amazing thing is that these are all like little 15-minute paintings.
Were these all done, just I'm curious now that I know the process, were these all done in the same session?
No, I would say that the first two pieces, they were done on different days.
Okay.
He frequented the art studio quite regularly, and he really, really loved the palette, the colors that he had chosen. So these were just piggybacking off of one another. And I think with this one, I had encouraged him to think a little bit more broadly and to not copy or mimic what he had done before. Let's see what we can do. How can this evolve into this?
Great.
And so that's
again,
what we
the
came up
growth
with.
that we see with the Expressive Arts program.
Richmond, I think you have this the wrong way.
What do you mean the wrong way?
Well, listen, I think the painter had this in mind. It's an abstract piece. It can really go any way.
I like it this way.
Well, you like it that way? Well, you know what? Whoever buys it, they can put it on their wall any
However
which
they
way they want. But
it.
yes, again, this is an abstract piece of artwork. And the cool thing is that sometimes what I'll do is I'll bring in a book reference or resource for the kids to look at. In this particular case, I brought in a book of artwork that was auctioned off at Christie's. And it was postmodern and contemporary art, and it was filled with many famous pieces of artwork on the auction block for thousands upon thousands of dollars. And my whole point here was to show the kids that beauty is in the eye of the beholder, and that artwork like this, to a lot of people, looks like a mess.
Right.
But sometimes those messes are worth thousands upon thousands upon thousands of dollars.
Right. Well, and that's got to inspire those kids because, you see some of these great artists, and I've seen the price tag on some of those pieces, and it has inspired me to attempt at doing a Pollock or something like that.
Good. Did you? I hope you put down tons of newspaper because
I've yet to attempt it. I'm still working it out.
Okay.
But yeah, and then it's also too if you have a great publicist and a PR firm to really push your work along, which we will do for our kids here at Astor. This is awesome. Thank you for sharing. Kevin, tell me about these two abstract pieces.
Again, these are from a frequent visitor to the art studio, Isaiah, and he, again, sort of picked up where he left off from previous sessions, picking the colors that best represented his mood or feelings at the time. I think it's safe to say that in this one here, he is feeling a little bit more at ease and comfortable. And this one, perhaps a little bit more agitated. Maybe he's feeling a little anxious. A lot of the times when the kids come into this studio, they're bringing, parts of their day, and sometimes it's not always, hunky-dory.
Right.
So this was a perfect way for him in these two sessions to sort of
We see both sides of...
to just let it out.
Not every day is a great day.
Right.
And when they have great days, we get, we see both sides of the emotional coin, I guess, so to speak.
And these two pieces I also add is that it's not just paint and a paintbrush. Isaiah was encouraged to also use some of the other various tools in the studio. In this particular case, we had a metallic paint marker. One's acrylic on canvas and one is acrylic on linen.
Okay, so we've got acrylic on linen, acrylic on canvas, and then the metallic marker that was used on this. These are great. So now I want to introduce everyone to Dr. Kathy Mills. So here's a message from Dr. Kathy Mills.
I'm Dr. Kathy Mills. I've worked at Astor for 20 years, and I'm currently the clinical director, which means that I am in charge of making sure that every aspect of the residential programs has a clinical aspect and is including the kids' treatment, from the childcare staff to rec, to the therapists, to the kitchen staff understand the kids' needs and can really give them what they need in every moment of their day. So the kids that come to this program are between the ages of 5 and 14, and they come because they can't live in their home for some reason. They've not been able to be safe in the community. They all have a mental health diagnosis, and most of them have experienced some kind of trauma in their lives. And because of their mental health diagnoses, they get removed from their families through hospitalizations, and that repeated trauma of, I'm not with my caregiver, I'm not with that person who's nurturing me, really then just exacerbates the problem. So coming here to Astor and living here in the residential program, we can give them stable adults to be around who can work with their families and bring their families into the treatment. So we use the CARE model, which is it's a trauma-based model that says kids with mental health issues have trauma. Because of their mental health issues, they've experienced trauma, whether it's the typical things that you think of physical abuse, sexual abuse, neglect, trauma of being removed from your family, and being bullied or not being able to make friends in the same way that other kids do. So that CARE model embraces all of those aspects and pulls the family in and says, you're important, we need you here, we're going to help your child learn the skills they need, we're going to teach you the skills you need to help your child live with you and in the community. So we do everything from individual and family therapy, the kids get social skills groups and anger management groups, really whatever they need. And then the child care staff and the teachers are all trained to be therapeutic in all of their interactions. So their schooling is focused on academics and helping them with that, but in a nurturing environment. The kids really, they're here because they think they're bad. Well, that's the thing that we have to undo. And so then the kids do everything from music to painting, clay. We've used dance. We've had a child do a fashion show. We have volunteers that come in and whatever their expertise is or their passion is, they find a child that matches with them, and then they connect with that person. They're able to express themselves in this way. And then we use that in therapy and we can say, we saw this work, we saw what you did, and we can then address their trauma and address the reasons that they're here in their mental health. And then they get this wonderful self-esteem boost when this outside person cared about me enough. They danced with me, they sang with me, they taught me to play an instrument and were proud of what I did. And we've had kids say, I sold a painting, someone bought my painting, it's gonna be hanging somewhere. I can be famous because of that. To shut down the building. No one can come in. The staff can come in, no visitors, nobody goes out of the building as far as the kids. So we had to find things to help them stay active, stay positive, and be able to express themselves about their own fears about the pandemic and COVID. And so the arts have really been a way to do that. And you know, they've been painting with Kevin, they've been dancing and singing and swimming and running and doing all these wonderful things with the rec department. And they've been able to express themselves, and that's really helped them keep their anxiety down and stay positive of, we're all gonna get through this together. Volunteers to teach those classes and be with the kids is so important. I would love to see it expand, have the kids really be able to connect with the community and connect with kids in the community also of, you know, here's someone close to my age who has the same interest and we're working on this together. And that really teaches them those social skills that they need. It also gives that kid in the community a sense of purpose. Dance lessons is a huge thing, music instruments, you know, we have some, and so having more so that more kids can participate and we can do more group activities in that way. Because we have our expertise. You're not going to see me dancing or singing. It's not my expertise, so I need the people to come in and teach the kids and really help us with that.
Thank you, Kathy, for working with your team so well to make sure that the children and the families continue to get served during this time, for creating the space for the children to be able to share with us their expressive arts. And a big thank you to the children who participated. It is wonderful to see how committed and how dedicated you are to this work. It was quite wonderful. I'm so proud of the work that you've done here. Now I have the pleasure of introducing another one of Astor's amazing artists. Meet Harmony.
How long have you been an artist? Were you an artist before you came to Astor?
Yeah, I like to paint and draw.
Okay. What's your favorite part about working with Kevin?
He helps me do my painting more.
Yeah.
He helps me make it look good.
Right. Does Kevin help you with your clay too?
Yeah.
So he does all your arts with you.
He should be getting most of the credit.
He should be
I should be getting.
Well, I think.
Oh, you're funny.
I think it's a team effort, though, right? I mean, everything I've seen you guys work on, somebody's got to come up with the idea, right?
Yeah.
Why did you choose the name Footprints of Feelings?
Because their feelings, they're people walking and they're like feelings, and people are just walking with these different feelings.
Okay.
And you're walking.
So in this painting, do the different colors, do they describe
Yes.
different feelings? Can you give me an example?
Gold is excited. Yellow is happy. Purple would be like.
Sad,
Yeah.
sad, worried,
The red is angry.
angry. But you know
Green
what's
Was
was
green lonely?
lonely?
yeah.
Oh. Well, I was gonna say sometimes green means growth. You know, because when things grow outside, what color are they?
Green.
Green.
Yeah, so growth.
So let's do this. I'm going to pass this over to Mr. Kevin. And I want you, because this is yours, right?
Remember painting this?
Yeah.
Then you did name this. What was it?
The heart of feelings.
The Heart of Feelings. And this has everything to do with what we're experiencing here at Astor, remember?
Yeah.
And what is it? Everybody, why we have to wear a mask and why
The
we
corona.
yeah. So this was more or less your response to that topic or subject, right?
Yeah.
Is this your heart? Very cool. Talk about the things that you like to make with clay.
This is a bigger dumpling, except this one is like broken in half, so you can see this like stuff inside of
See
it.
the inside.
And then this one is just a big dumpling, so you can see the whole thing, what it would be like without cutting it. And then this is my mug.
Oh,
I glazed it, but it isn't ready.
Do you have any other secret talents or any other hobbies?
No, not really.
Music.
Well, yeah, music.
Well, the talents around this place never cease to amaze me. So this artist was also just playing the piano, Harmony.
She was. Yep.
And If my memory serves me correctly, you were playing the drums that day?
Well, I must confess, I was playing the drums. I love of the drums, and a lot of the times the kids will have to prompt me in the studio to stop playing the drums with the paintbrushes, because I just like to create beats. And sometimes they like it, and sometimes they don't. And actually, sometimes they'll pick up paintbrushes and they'll start making similar beats. So. Harmony is a very musically inclined, and we just saw from that clip how beautiful she was on that piano.
We do so much here at Astor. I mean, the Expressive Arts program is just one portion of the many, many programs that we have here. And just seeing the music side, I mean, that she asked to go play us a song, which was really great. And then just seeing the smile and the joy on her face.
Yeah.
And that's great that we were able to do that with all our residents and students here.
Yeah.
So this is the final product
Yep.
of her footprints on
Footprints of feelings.
Footprints of Feelings.
Yep.
This is really great. So this is the piece that we actually saw her painting with Kevin, and I think it's great. I really do. She added a few final touches.
She did. Yep.
I love it. And this is Harmony's heart. That we saw, she presented to us in that clip. We've seen since the start of our program, the kids, as unfortunately and as cliche as this is the new normal, the kids are adjusting and doing so well. We're seeing brighter days ahead for them. So I'm excited for the next couple of paintings that we have. Starting with the heart, it's cheerfulness, it's happy, it's beyond, per se, the walls here,
For a lot of the kids, the consistency, the routine of entering a space that we offer in the studio, it just allows them to breathe. It allows them to open up. It allows them to express themselves. And in that atmosphere, this is what we see. These are the results, and I think this
great.
really sort of speaks volumes to the space that the Expressive
Yeah.
Arts program brings to the table.
Absolutely. It's great. So here, this piece is another collaboration piece, I'm guessing?
Yep, it's
Just
little,
by some of the finer details I noticed in there?
Yep. So a lot of the times when we're in the studio, I might have a subject in mind. And in this particular case, we were looking at landscapes. And in the Hudson Valley, we're really surrounded by the Catskill Mountains, the beautiful Hudson River, the Hudson River Valley, farms, and all those wonderful environments. And so we decided to focus on the lighthouses in the area. And I think there are 3 or 4 of them. And again, using the computer as a reference point to create a picture. We chose this lighthouse, and I believe somebody began drawing it but struggled with perspective and creating space within the painting, and I jumped in, helped render it, and one of the children started to add some colors.
And I can only imagine it's when the kids are painting, like lighthouses and landscapes. I mean, that's really almost a dreamscape for them. Do they use their imagination and talk about, like, maybe what's on the inside of the lighthouse? Or
I think,
lighthouses are obviously a beacon of hope and a beacon of light.
And I think that's ultimately where the conversation
Okay.
went, is that what is the purpose of a lighthouse?
Gotcha.
And really, I mean, a lighthouse is a safety net. It provides light to ships that are, entering harbors or are coming in from the sea. And I think in many instances, what we're beginning to see here is that when we're capturing something on the outside, off Astor's property, on the Hudson River, it opens the eyes and mind up a little bit that, there's other things out there in the surrounding area.
That's great. And I think we have another lighthouse, so let's take a look at that one. So the next lighthouse, this is done by just one student, right?
Yep.
Okay. And this is actually called, it's funny that I said it, it's kind of a beacon of hope. This is actually titled Beacon of Hope.
Yes.
So can you tell me a little bit about This piece, it's obviously, a young artist that we have here.
Yeah. Again, it was showing this child various pictures of lighthouses up and down the Hudson River. And then I just basically said to the child, you can use one of these pictures as your reference point and copy it, or given what you've observed, make up your own lighthouse. And this is what this young individual did. And I think it is a very successful painting. It's very simple and right to the point. I love the use of paint. I think not only did they use a paintbrush, but I showed the child how to also apply paint with a scalpel knife, or a palette knife rather, and how they could,
So
apply
adding
paint.
texture.
Yeah, yeah,
That's great.
yeah.
Now this piece definitely speaks to me. This is reminding me, honestly, of home. My
Yes,
home, the Florida
Florida
Keys.
Keys.
So I'm guessing we're looking at a beautiful sunrise, or it
that-
could be sunset.
I think in this particular case, the young boy that painted this, his name's Jeff, and I think he was thinking of a sunset.
Sunset.
Yes.
The end of
Yeah,
a day.
the end of a
Beautiful day.
Yeah.
I love it.
yeah.
The palm trees, the little island, the
Oh.
big sun. This is really great. And I noticed here, so Jeff obviously has been working with you for a while, because
Yes.
now I see some of the techniques that you showed us in a previous painting.
Right.
And
Texture.
this one, the texture pieces. It's really great.
No, and the cool thing was, I think I spoke about sort of broadening, the scenery element here, and I don't think Jeff has ever really been, to the coast, whether it's in Florida or Cape Cod or Maine. So this is purely out of his mind and his imagination.
Getting out of their own comfort zone and experiencing or projecting something that might be, better for them.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
this is really, really great. So this is our last piece of art for our virtual art expo. Kevin, tell me about this final piece.
Well, this is another little acrylic painting by a boy who was getting ready to transition out of Astor. He decided that this painting was appropriate and that it best represented his journey. And I think that's why we see the rainbow, and we see a paved, smooth road, and we see beautiful, lush, green landscape, blue sky. And I think for him, this painting is just sort of, it's an exclamation mark.
Yeah.
It's that I'm moving on, and everything is going to be good.
That's awesome. Yeah, and it's, when it comes to the services and things that we do here, the treatments that you provide as far as, expressive art therapy, I think you hit the nail on the head with it's an exclamation point that, we were able to assist him with the tools and, the services he needed. And this was his big, high five, I'm out of here piece.
Yep.
And I think it's awesome. It's great. Well, Kevin, I want to thank you for everything you do for the kids, and thank you for helping me put together this virtual art expo. Not having events in person has been really difficult for us here at Astor on the fundraising side. So going virtual is new for us, as we mentioned at the beginning of the show. So thank you for all that you do. Thank you for sharing the work with us and sharing the kids with us.
Also like to just thank you for the opportunity, and thank Astor for giving me the time and privilege really to come here and work with great kids.
Awesome.
It's great, and I'm thankful.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us for our first virtual art expo. I think it was so much fun. I hope you'll join us for the next one. And now I'd like to turn it over to Sonia Barnes-Moorhead, who is our Executive Vice President of the Children's Foundation of Astor.
Hello, my name is Sonia Barnes-Moorhead. I'm the Executive Vice President for the Children's Foundation of Astor. I want to thank you for taking the time to experience our children's virtual art show. They put a lot of work into it. A lot of work went into it as well with the staff, and I want to thank them all for participating in the process. Throughout the show, you have been shown some amazing pieces of the children, how they were expressing themselves during COVID. I hope their pieces truly impacted you, as I know it did me when I first saw some of them. The kids, the staff, really put a lot of work into making this possible. Kevin Reifenberg, who works real closely with the kids, I want to thank him. Dr. Kathy Mills, with whom you've heard from her, and all the amazing work that goes into working with our children and the impact the arts have on them. And of course, our CEO, Yvette Beran, who has truly supported all the efforts, made whatever the kids needed to make sure that they received it. And we really want to continue to support this really great effort. The staff are amazing, and their commitment and dedication to the kids are just phenomenal. And I want to make sure that they're truly acknowledged. They are our heroes. We need your support. We need the community involvement. Dr. Mills talked about the needing assistance from, volunteers in the community to come in and work with our children. That's so needed because we have so much talent in the community in which we live in. So anything you can do to help our children continue doing this amazing work, whether it's art supplies, whether it's your time, we need that assistance, and because it works and it helps and it really changes their lives. Please purchase their artwork. It does impact, it impacts them, it impacts all of their self-esteem. It makes them feel good that their work is being purchased and people are admiring in the work they do. And I would encourage you to really go on our website and make those purchases, and you can get the original artwork or you can get prints that we have. It really impacts the kids knowing that you're purchasing their artwork. So purchase it, www.astorservices.org. We need the community, and you are our community, and we need your help to continue this work. So thank you so much for your support during this really trying time in particular. But we look forward to better days and our kids continuing the amazing work that they do, and of course our staff.